In the small, quiet town of New Sweden, Maine, a family's world was turned upside down on September 23, 2024, when 13-year-old Stefanie Damron disappeared without a trace. Stefanie had ventured into the woods near her home, and, as of today, she remains missing. Her case has baffled investigators and devastated her family, leaving them searching for answers and holding on to hope. Stefanie was a typical teenage girl, bright, independent, and adventurous. Standing 5 feet tall, with green eyes and shoulder-length brown hair, she was known for her love of the outdoors. Living in the forested landscape of New Sweden, Stefanie often explored the woods near her home, a habit that reflected her adventurous spirit. But what began as an ordinary day quickly became a heartbreaking mystery. On that September day, Stefanie argued with her sister at their home on West Road. Feeling frustrated, she decided to take a walk into the nearby woods to cool off. Her family wasn't immediately worried. Stefanie was familiar with the area and had done this before, often returning after a short while. However, as the hours passed and she didn't come home, her parents, Christopher and Lisa Marie Damron, grew increasingly concerned. They searched the surrounding area, calling out for Stefanie, but she was nowhere to be found. By the next morning, with no sign of their daughter, they reported her missing to the authorities. The response was swift. The Maine State Police and the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team launched an intensive search effort. Helicopters, drones, and K-9 units combed the dense woods surrounding the Damron home. The community also came together, with volunteers searching tirelessly to bring Stefanie home. Despite these efforts, the search turned up nothing. There were no footprints, no clothing, no belongings, nothing to indicate where Stefanie might have gone or what could have happened to her. It was as if she had simply vanished. Stefanie's family describes her as strong-willed and resourceful, a young girl who had spent much of her life exploring the outdoors. Originally from Texas, the Damron family moved to New Sweden in 2020, seeking a quieter lifestyle. Stefanie had embraced this new way of life, finding joy in nature. Yet her sudden disappearance has left even experienced search teams stumped. As the days turned into weeks, speculation about Stefanie's fate grew. Could she have gotten lost in the woods? New Sweden's forests are dense and expansive, making it easy for someone to lose their way. Some wondered if she might have encountered wildlife, while others feared foul play could be involved. Investigators have not ruled out any possibilities, but the complete lack of evidence has made it difficult to determine what truly happened. There is also the unsettling possibility that Stefanie was abducted. New Sweden's proximity to the Canadian border has raised concerns that she could have been taken across state or international lines. However, no witnesses have come forward to support this theory, leaving it as one of many unanswered questions. Stefanie's parents, Christopher and Lisa Marie, remain steadfast in their hope of finding her. They have shared their pleas with the public, with Lisa Marie stating, "If you see something, anything, please say something. We need Stefanie home." Her family's love and determination continue to fuel the search efforts, but they need the public's help to bring Stefanie back. Nearly 2 months have passed since Stefanie disappeared, and the case remains open. Investigators are following every lead, and additional photos of Stefanie have been released in the hopes of jogging someone's memory. If you have any information about Stefanie's disappearance, please contact the Maine State Police at 1-800-924-2261. Even the smallest piece of information could be the key to solving this heartbreaking mystery. Stefanie Damron's disappearance has left a deep void in her family and community. As the search continues, one thing is clear: Stefanie is loved, missed, and not forgotten. Her family's unwavering hope and the community support are powerful reminders of the strength that emerges in the face of tragedy. Let's do everything we can to bring Stefanie home.
And Maine State Police and the FBI are still looking for a teenager missing from New Sweden. 13-year-old Stefanie Damron was first reported missing by her family back on September 24th.
She is 5 feet tall. She has green eyes and shoulder-length brown hair. Police say they have searched extensively around New Sweden, and they're following local and international leads. If you have any information on where she might be, State Police ask you to call the number on your screen. It's 207-532-5400.
Gretchen Fleming was a vibrant young woman, born on December 24, 1994, in West Virginia. She had a zest for life, a love for music, travel, and writing, and a creative personality that drew people to her. After studying political science at William Peace University and Shaw University in North Carolina, she returned to her home state. Known for her independence and curiosity, Gretchen was someone who embraced challenges with courage. Her life wasn't without struggles. Gretchen's parents divorced when she was young, and she and her sister, Emma, were raised by their father, David. Family dynamics changed when David remarried, blending two families and eventually making Gretchen the eldest of 5 siblings. Despite these challenges, she grew into a strong, intelligent, and athletic woman, navigating life with resilience and ambition. After high school, Gretchen moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, seeking new experiences. Her adventurous spirit led her through various jobs and relationships. Eventually, she returned to Parkersburg, West Virginia, likely seeking comfort and familiarity. Sadly, her homecoming was marred by the unexpected passing of her mother, a loss that deeply affected her. To cope, Gretchen moved in with her grandparents and worked at a local H&M store, maintaining her independence while rebuilding her life. On the evening of December 3, 2022, Gretchen went out with friends to enjoy the nightlife in Parkersburg. Her night included stops at several popular spots, including the Front Row Bar on Emerson Avenue and My Way Lounge and Restaurant on Juliana Street. Witnesses saw her in high spirits, socializing and enjoying herself. At around 3 a.m. on December 4th, surveillance cameras captured Gretchen leaving My Way Lounge with an older man, later identified as Preston Pierce, a former police officer. The two were seen walking toward Pierce's black Nissan Rogue Sport SUV. However, due to the angle of the footage, it's unclear if Gretchen got into the vehicle. She never returned home that night. Gretchen's family became worried when they couldn't reach her. Complicating matters, her phone and purse had been left behind at the Front Row Bar earlier in the evening, making it impossible for her to contact anyone. By December 12, 2022, her family filed a missing persons report with the Parkersburg Police Department, sparking a full-scale investigation. Pierce, the last known person to see Gretchen, quickly became the focus of the investigation. He admitted that Gretchen had been in his car but claimed she left before arriving at his home. However, surveillance footage showed his vehicle traveling toward his residence, just 2 miles from the bar. Police believe Gretchen likely went to Pierce's house, but his statements have been inconsistent. Search warrants were issued for Pierce's home, car, and electronic devices, yet no evidence directly linked him to her disappearance.
And thank you. This afternoon, FBI crime scene experts and Parkersburg police were back on the former home of a person of interest in December of 2022. The disappearance of a Wood County woman who is still missing today. Reporter Bob Aaron describes the new search for evidence in Gretchen Fleming's mysterious disappearance.
An FBI team joined Parkersburg detectives in probing the interior of a house on Division Street Extension that was the former home of a person of interest in the disappearance of Gretchen Fleming.
To this day, Pierce remains a person of interest, but he has not been charged. Pierce's background added to the community's suspicions. During his time as a police officer, he had faced allegations of misconduct, and he had a reputation for unsettling behavior. His connection to Gretchen on the night she vanished and his vague explanations raised serious concerns, yet investigators struggled to build a concrete case against him. The community rallied behind Gretchen's family, helping search for her in nearby parks, wooded areas, and other locations. Volunteers scoured the region for any clues, while online forums and social media lit up with discussions and theories about her case. Despite these efforts, no significant breakthroughs were made. The lack of physical evidence has left police, family, and friends in anguish, desperately hoping for answers. In January 2023, authorities conducted extensive searches of Pierce's properties, but Gretchen's whereabouts remained unknown. By May 2023, the reward for information leading to her discovery had been raised to $100,000, a testament to the community's support. In November 2024, with the assistance of the FBI, police searched a residence on Division Street, connected to the investigation. Although the property was linked to Pierce, he no longer lived there. These efforts, while thorough, have yet to yield the answers Gretchen's family so desperately seeks. Gretchen Fleming was a petite woman, standing between 5 feet 0 inches and 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing around 100 to 120 pounds, with brown hair and eyes. Her disappearance has left a void in the lives of those who loved her, and the mystery surrounding her case has shaken the Parkersburg community. If you have any information about Gretchen's disappearance, you are urged to contact the Parkersburg Police Department at 304-424-8444 or Detective James Zimmerman at 304-424-1072. Even the smallest detail could provide the breakthrough needed to solve this heartbreaking case. Gretchen Fleming's story is a tragic reminder of the dangers that can arise unexpectedly, even in familiar places. Her family and community remain united in their pursuit of justice, holding on to hope that one day, the truth will emerge and Gretchen's story will find its resolution. Gary, Indiana, a city with a rich history, a resilient community, and countless stories. But in October 2024, a chilling mystery unfolded, shaking the lives of everyone who knew Emma Baum. At just 25 years old, Emma, a devoted mother of 4, and 9 months pregnant with her 5th child, vanished without a trace. The heartbreaking case of Emma Baum's disappearance, the unanswered questions, and the desperate hope her family holds onto. Emma was known as a loving and devoted mother who would do anything for her children. Her family describes her as someone full of life, with a vibrant personality and an infectious smile. Standing 5 feet 3 inches tall and weighing around 136 pounds, Emma had a distinct style, often wearing wigs or hairpieces to complement her natural brunette hair. She was also eagerly anticipating the arrival of her 5th child, a pregnancy she had embraced with excitement and love. On October 10, 2024, Emma was last seen at her boyfriend's home on the 2500 block of Connecticut Street. At the time, she was 9 months pregnant and had recently been told by her doctors that she was 1 centimeter dilated. Despite her condition, Emma had gone to visit her boyfriend, with plans to return home later that evening. But Emma never came back. When her family realized she wasn't answering her phone and hadn't checked in, they grew increasingly worried. For 18 days, Emma's family searched for her, holding on to hope that she would return. By October 28, with no sign of Emma and no contact from her, her loved ones reported her missing to the Gary Police Department. What followed was a full-scale investigation. Authorities searched 3 primary locations tied to Emma's last known movements, reviewed hours of surveillance footage from the area, and interviewed those closest to her. Yet, no significant leads emerged. Abigail Smith, Emma's sister, issued a heartfelt plea to the public. "We are looking for my sister. She was 1 centimeter dilated on October 4th. She has been missing since October 10th. At this point, we have done everything we can, and now we ask the public to please help us. We need answers.
She was 1 centimeter dilated on October 4th. She has been missing since October 10th. At this point, we have done everything we can, and now we ask the public to please help us.
During the investigation, Emma's boyfriend was briefly taken into custody, not for her disappearance, but on an unrelated warrant for failing to appear in court. However, no charges have been filed against him in connection to Emma's case, and he has not been labeled a suspect. The lack of evidence and leads in this case has left Emma's family devastated and desperate for answers. Despite the uncertainty, the Gary community has rallied around Emma's family. Vigils have been held in her honor, and search parties continue to comb through wooded areas near her last known location. Residents and volunteers have worked tirelessly to keep Emma's story alive, hoping that someone, somewhere, knows something that could bring her home. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching aspect of this case is the impact on Emma's children. Her 4 young kids, who adored their mother, are now left wondering where she has gone. Emma's family emphasizes that she was a devoted mother who would never willingly leave her children behind. Her sudden disappearance is as out of character as it is inexplicable. Emma's family and the police are urging anyone with information about her whereabouts to come forward. If you know anything, no matter how small it may seem, it could be the key to solving this case. You can contact the Gary Police Department at 219-881-1209. Your tip could help reunite Emma with her family and bring peace to those who love her. Emma Baum's disappearance has left a void, not only in her family but in the entire Gary community. Her loved ones remain hopeful, clinging to the belief that she will return home. Until then, we must continue to spread her story, keep her name in the public eye, and support her family in their search for answers.
Friends and family of a missing pregnant mother from Indiana are asking the public for help in finding her.
The mother of the missing woman believes her daughter's boyfriend had something to do with her disappearance.
I would like my daughter home. We miss her. Her babies need her family needs her.
In March 2024, Detroit was shaken by the disappearance of 14-year-old twin sisters, Ania and Anika Ogden. Their sudden vanishing left their family and community searching for answers. For an entire month, hope was the only thing keeping them going. Today, we'll unravel the events surrounding their disappearance, the search to find them, and the shocking circumstances under which they were eventually located. Ania and Anika Ogden were 9th graders at Mumford High School in Detroit, Michigan. Known for their close bond, the twins were inseparable, sharing not only their looks but also a deep connection. Growing up under the care of their father, George Ogden, the sisters lived on Robson Street, where they were surrounded by friends, family, and a supportive community. But life for the Ogden family changed forever on March 8, 2024. That day, the twins left their home without permission and didn't return. For their father, George, this was out of character. He tried to contact them, but they had left their cell phones behind, severing the family's only lifeline to reach them. George quickly reported Ania and Anika missing to the Detroit Police Department. He described his daughters as bright, cheerful girls, but also acknowledged that, like many teenagers, they were navigating the complexities of adolescence. Their sudden disappearance, however, raised alarm bells. "I just want my girls back home. We're worried sick, and we just want to know that they're safe. If anyone has seen them, please call the police." The Detroit Police Department immediately launched an investigation, combing through possible leads. Flyers with the twins' photos were distributed, and local media covered the story extensively. Community members joined the effort, searching nearby neighborhoods and parks. Despite all the efforts, days turned into weeks with no sign of the girls. 3 weeks after their disappearance, hope began to waver. George and the community feared the worst. Where could 2 young girls go? Did they leave voluntarily, or were they taken? Questions mounted as leads dried up, and the case seemed to stall. On April 8, 2024, a breakthrough finally came. Police in Allen Park, Michigan, a suburb just outside Detroit, responded to a report about a stolen debit card being used to book a hotel room at the Comfort Inn, located near Interstate 94. What they discovered inside the room shocked everyone. Inside the hotel room were Ania and Anika Ogden, alive but in troubling circumstances. They were accompanied by a 30-year-old man named Marcus Peoples. People had used the stolen debit card, which belonged to a Nebraska resident, to book the room. This slip-up ultimately led to the police locating the twins.
At a hotel in Allen Park Monday morning.
Here, you two, right here. Come here. We're talking. You go with him. You can go with the car. You go to the front desk.
Police officer body cam video.
I know who you guys are. I know who you guys are, okay? And I know who's looking for you, okay? And we're gonna have to solve that tonight.
Identified as the 14-year-old twins missing from Detroit for more than a month. Runaway.
Marcus Peoples was arrested and charged with harboring missing juveniles and fraudulent use of the stolen debit card. While the twins were safely returned to their family, many questions remained unanswered. How did they meet Peoples? What happened during the month they were missing? And why did they leave home in the first place? The circumstances surrounding this case are still under investigation. Our primary focus was ensuring the safe return of the girls, and we are continuing to gather information about what occurred during their time away. For the community and family, the relief of finding Ania and Anika alive was immense. But their father, George, admitted that the situation was more complicated than it seemed. While thankful for their safe return, he was left grappling with the emotional toll of their absence and the unanswered questions that still lingered. Cases like this highlight the vulnerability of teenagers and the challenges families face in protecting them. Ania and Anika's story ended with them being found alive, but it serves as a chilling reminder of how easily young lives can be endangered. If you or someone you know has any additional information about this case, please contact the Detroit Police Department. Additionally, parents are encouraged to stay vigilant, communicate openly with their children, and seek help if they notice troubling behavior. Ania and Anika Ogden's disappearance and eventual recovery is a story of resilience, community action, and the importance of never giving up hope. As we reflect on their journey, let's remember the many families still searching for their loved ones and do what we can to help bring them home. In November 2022, the peaceful town of Cornelius, North Carolina, was shaken by the disappearance of 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. A bright and cheerful girl, with a love for horses and a zest for life, Madalina's sudden absence left her family and community desperate for answers. Today, we delve into the details of her disappearance, the investigation, and the search for the truth about what happened to this young girl. Madalina was a 6th grade student at Bailey Middle School. Her teachers and classmates described her as a vibrant and kind-hearted young girl who loved to learn. Living with her mother, Diana Cojocari, and stepfather, Christopher Parmiter, she seemed to have a bright future ahead of her. However, on November 21, 2022, Madalina was last seen getting off her school bus at around 5 p.m. This footage would later become the last confirmed sighting of her. According to her mother, Diana, Madalina was last seen at home on the night of November 23, 2 days after leaving the bus. Diana claimed that she went to bed, and when she woke up, her daughter was gone. Days turned into weeks, yet Diana did not contact the police. It wasn't until December 15, nearly 3 weeks later, that Madalina was officially reported missing. concerns about Madalina's prolonged absence were first raised by school officials. On December 12, a truancy officer visited the Cojocari home but received no response. 2 days later, during a meeting with school staff, Diana admitted that her daughter had been missing for weeks. This revelation shocked everyone, leading to a report to the Cornelius Police Department. The delay in reporting raised immediate concerns among investigators. Diana and her husband, Christopher Parmiter, were both arrested and charged with failure to report the disappearance of a child. Their inconsistent stories and lack of cooperation only deepened the mystery. Diana claimed she believed Madalina had been taken by Christopher, while Christopher denied having any knowledge of her whereabouts. The search for Madalina became a top priority for local law enforcement, the FBI, and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. They conducted extensive searches in the surrounding areas, including nearby Lake Cornelius. Despite their best efforts, no significant leads emerged, leaving investigators and the community frustrated and heartbroken. The Cornelius community rallied around the Cojocari family, organizing vigils and distributing flyers in the hopes of finding Madalina. Her school and local organizations also stepped in, offering support and amplifying the call for information. Yet, as time went on, the case grew colder. In June 2024, Diana Cojocari was officially named a suspect in her daughter's disappearance. Authorities cited her evasive behavior and inconsistent statements as reasons for the designation. Just a month later, reports surfaced that Diana had fled the United States, possibly returning to her home country of Moldova. This development further complicated the investigation and raised new questions about her involvement. Meanwhile, Christopher Parmiter faced legal consequences for failing to report Madalina's disappearance. In August 2024, he was convicted and sentenced to supervised probation. Christopher claimed he was unaware of what happened to Madalina and suggested that Diana might have taken her back to Europe. These allegations remain unverified, leaving the case shrouded in uncertainty. As of today, Madalina Cojocari remains missing. Her disappearance has left a void, not only in her family but in the entire community of Cornelius. The investigation is still active, with authorities pursuing leads both in the United States and internationally. A reward is being offered for information that could lead to her whereabouts. If you have any information about Madalina Cojocari, please contact the Cornelius Police Department at 704-892-7773. Every tip, no matter how small, could bring us closer to finding her. The disappearance of Madalina Cojocari is a heartbreaking reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by children. As her family and community continue to search for answers, we must remain vigilant and hopeful. Together, we can keep her story alive and support efforts to bring her home. In October 2023, the peaceful town of Tui, in Batangas, Philippines, was shaken by the sudden disappearance of 26-year-old Catherine Camilon. A model, a school teacher, and a beloved daughter, Catherine's life was brimming with promise. Her unexpected vanishing left her family and an entire community desperate for answers. Catherine Camilon was a woman of remarkable talents. As a teacher, she was deeply cherished by her students for her kindness and dedication. Beyond the classroom, she pursued her passion for modeling and was a finalist in the prestigious Miss Grand Philippines beauty pageant. Her family lovingly described her as a caring, ambitious young woman who always strived to make them proud. On the morning of October 12th, Catherine embarked on a seemingly routine journey from her hometown of Tui to Batangas City, a trip she had made countless times. She was last seen at Zentro Mall Laymiri, in Laymiri, Batangas, with witnesses recalling her presence in the parking lot. Shortly after, she made a brief phone call to her mother from a gasoline station in Baum, a nearby town. Tragically, this would be the last time anyone heard from her. Growing increasingly worried by Catherine's uncharacteristic silence, her mother tried calling her repeatedly. Hours stretched into days, and with no word from Catherine, her family reported her missing. What followed were chilling revelations that hinted at foul play. Eyewitnesses came forward with alarming accounts. They claimed to have seen Catherine unconscious inside her vehicle, being transferred to another car by unidentified individuals. These reports strongly suggested that Catherine had been abducted. The Batangas Provincial Police immediately launched an investigation. Catherine's case quickly gained national attention, her story spreading across social media and news outlets. As search teams scoured Batangas and beyond, Catherine's family made heartfelt pleas to the public for help, clinging to the hope that she could still be found alive. "We miss her so much. Catherine is a good person. She's our light. If anyone knows anything, no matter how small, please come forward. Help us bring her home." Despite the family's heartbreak, the investigation reached a critical turning point in late October 2023. A suspect emerged, a police officer stationed in Batangas. This individual was charged in connection with Catherine's disappearance, casting a disturbing shadow over the case. The involvement of a law enforcement officer raised troubling questions about abuse of power and the possibility of a broader conspiracy. Meanwhile, the community rallied around Catherine's family, organizing candlelight vigils and marches to demand justice. Friends, students, and supporters shared messages of hope and solidarity, ensuring Catherine's story remained in the public eye as the investigation progressed. Months later, Catherine's whereabouts remain a painful mystery. While the arrest of a suspect provided some answers, it has not brought closure. The absence of evidence regarding her current condition, whether she is alive or not, has left her family trapped in an agonizing limbo, torn between hope and despair. Catherine's case is a stark reminder of the dangers that can arise, even during the most ordinary routines. Her disappearance has ignited a broader conversation in the Philippines about safety, accountability, and the urgent need to protect women from violence. If you have any information about Catherine Camilon's disappearance, please contact the Batangas Provincial Police or the hotline listed on your screen. No matter how small, every detail could bring us closer to finding Catherine and uncovering the truth. Catherine Camilon was more than just a model or a teacher. She was a sister, a daughter, and a source of inspiration to all who knew her. As her family continues their search for answers, let us stand with them by raising awareness and demanding justice. Together, we can help keep Catherine's story alive and ensure that cases like hers are never forgotten. Robert Gallagher, affectionately known as Robbie to his friends and family, had a deep love for the ocean. He was often found surfing or swimming along the shores of Oahu, Hawaii. Robbie frequently shared with those close to him that being out on the ocean was like therapy for him, providing solace and peace. So, it was no surprise that he began to struggle mentally during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, when restrictions kept him from his beloved ocean activities. On October 31st, 2020, Robbie spoke with his mother on the phone, and she noticed that he was in a particularly troubled mental state. Concerned for his well-being, she, along with other family members, urged him to seek professional help, but Robbie did not heed their advice. In the days that followed, his behavior became increasingly erratic. He was eventually taken to Kahuku Medical Center for treatment, but before he could be seen by a doctor, he fled the facility. A nearby resident later reported that Robbie had attempted to force his way into her home for reasons that remain unclear. When authorities responded to the call, they found a pair of surfing fins on the property, which Robbie's family later confirmed belonged to him. However, they were puzzled about why he had them with him and where he could have gone afterward. When Robbie failed to reach out to any of his friends or family, they filed a missing person report with the Honolulu Police Department. In the days that followed, the family received a call from someone who had found Robbie's cell phone lying by the side of the road. Unfortunately, the phone provided no clues as to his whereabouts or what might have happened to him. A search of his apartment revealed that all of his belongings were still there, and his mother confirmed that she had his passport with her in California, ruling out the possibility that he had left the country. Despite searches of the surrounding area, no trace of Robbie was found, and his case eventually went cold. There have been a few reported sightings of him, but none of these tips have led to any breakthroughs, and Robbie remains missing. In an effort to encourage new leads, his family has offered a $10,000 reward for any information that leads to his discovery, but no substantial information has surfaced. Investigators do not believe Robbie was the victim of foul play, but they admit they have no clear idea of what might have happened to him. No solid leads or significant clues have emerged in the case. Robbie is described by his family as having blonde hair and blue eyes, standing 6 feet tall, and weighing approximately 165 pounds at the time of his disappearance. His family is particularly concerned because Robbie needs to take certain medications daily, and his lack of access to them adds to their fears for his safety. When he was last seen, Robbie was wearing sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt, typical attire for him. Anyone with information about Robbie's whereabouts or what may have happened to him is urged to contact the Honolulu Police Department at 808-529-3111. For those who wish to remain anonymous, tips can be provided to Crime Stoppers at 808-955-8300. In October 2020, Jordan Cheyenne Nebling, a 19-year-old woman living in Travelers Rest, South Carolina, vanished under mysterious circumstances. Jordan had recently secured a new job and was determined to leave behind a troubled past. Her childhood was marked by instability. She and her sister were placed in foster care at a young age before being adopted by a woman named Mary Tucker. During her teenage years, Jordan struggled with substance abuse, but by the time she got her new job, she was reportedly clean and hopeful about her future. Tragically, she disappeared before she could fully embrace this new chapter in her life, and her case remains unsolved. The events leading up to Jordan's disappearance began when she and a male friend decided to travel to Simpsonville, South Carolina, to visit some other friends. Lacking transportation, they borrowed a car from a mutual friend. However, once they arrived, Jordan's friend decided to leave with someone else, and on October 20th, Jordan set out to drive home alone. She made it as far as Old White Horse Road in Travelers Rest when the car began to sputter and eventually broke down. The residents of a nearby house later told investigators they saw Jordan get into another car, driven by a man they didn't recognize. That was the last time anyone saw or heard from her. When Jordan still hadn't returned home by November 8th, her adoptive mother, Mary Tucker, reported her missing to the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, prompting an investigation. It soon emerged that the man who had picked Jordan up was her boyfriend, Tyler Wilkins, whom she had been dating for 2 years. When questioned, Tyler claimed that after picking Jordan up, they went to his place, where they had an argument. According to Tyler, Jordan then left on foot, saying she was going out, but didn't mention where she was headed. No further clues or tips have surfaced in Jordan's case, and her whereabouts remain unknown. Many people suspect Tyler Wilkins may be involved in Jordan's disappearance, especially given his later criminal behavior. In 2022, Wilkins was arrested and charged with the murder of his new girlfriend, Clarissa Michelle Winchester. It was discovered that Wilkins had held Clarissa captive in a family member's home, and she died as a result of the assault. While Wilkins awaits trial for these charges, no additional charges have been brought against him in connection with Jordan's disappearance. However, investigators believe that something tragic happened to Jordan and do not think she simply disappeared on her own. The search for answers continues, and authorities welcome any new information. Jordan is described as having blonde hair and blue or hazel eyes. She is about 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs between 90 and 100 pounds. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing black leggings and a grey sweatshirt. She also has a tattoo on one of her forearms that reads "Live Free" along with a few birds. Anyone with information about Jordan's whereabouts or what happened on the day she disappeared is urged to contact the Greenville County Sheriff's Office at 864-271-5210. Alexis Scott was born on May 20, 1997. In 2017, when she was 20 years old, she left Peoria, Illinois with 2 guys and a girl, planning to find work as a dancer in Las Vegas. Sadly, she got mixed up with a bad group in Vegas who forced her into a terrible situation. She managed to escape and was found in Sacramento, California, frightened and confused. Her mom named April helped her get back home to Peoria, but she was scared the people who hurt her would come after her. After being home for just 3 weeks, on Friday, September 22, 2017, Alexis went to a party and never returned home. The next morning, when April woke up, she noticed that Alexis wasn't at home. She searched everywhere, and despite many efforts to search her, she couldn't find her. She was afraid of where she went. Alexis had a 2-year-old son named Tevin. April asked Alexis's son, "Did she leave last night? Do you know where she is? What's going on?" And he said that they had been hanging out that night. And then at around some time between 11 and midnight, she headed out, got into a car, and left, and he hadn't heard from her. April decided to call Alexis, but she didn't answer her phone. She thought that she would reach home on Sunday, but when she did not reach home on Sunday, she became very worried. Then April messaged her on Facebook, but her phone was not activated. Finally, Alexis decided to call the Peoria Police Department to report her daughter missing. The police quickly started looking into where Alexis was last seen. She was known to be now to kind of describe the location. It's off of what appears to be a main road. There's like a Burger King, there's a car wash, there's all sorts of businesses up and down, and then the houses are almost directly off of that. They searched for any sign of Alexis, any of her clothes that she was wearing, the phone that she maybe had that night. October 1st, 2017, they also showed up at the home and the 100 block of Richmond Avenue to speak to the residents about the party. Peoria Police Department detectives went to the neighborhood where the party was held and went door to door asking if anyone had any information on Alexis. Unfortunately, nobody said they did. They also searched vacant houses in the area to see if they could find any physical evidence leading to Alexis's whereabouts. Again, they found nothing. The host told authorities that they didn't really know Alexis very well, but she had been at the party that night. They said there were about 12 or so other people there. And they even said that it wasn't even a party. It was just a few people hanging out, and authorities were able to get a list of all the individuals who had been there and were able to question everyone, thinking they would get some sort of clear direction on where Alexis went, who she may have left with, but unfortunately ended up. 2 months after she disappeared, a search warrant was executed on the home where the party took place. It's unclear what evidence was found at the home, but there was still no sign of Alexis. However, people who lived there did some strange things after Alexis disappeared. They took items from the house to a burn pile, they raided a bedroom of a potential suspect, and they got rid of their washer and dryer. Her family later found out that the owner of the home where the party was knows the man who had trafficked her, and it's believed she was kidnapped and put back into the lifestyle. However, people close to the case have said that most of the physical and circumstantial evidence suggests she was murdered on the day she went missing. Alexis's 2-year-old son, Tevin, lives with April and was under her care when Alexis disappeared. He sees the flyers all the time. April just told him she was away and she'd come back soon. I'm just trying to be a good mom for her and a good grandma for him. Regardless, her family is keeping up hopes that Alexis is still alive. But as of April 2024, she hasn't been found, and this case remains unsolved. There is a short video of Alexis's son, recorded by Alexis's mother, April, in 2021. In the video, he is playing with toys.
What is that? It's a book bag for you.
"18-year-old Tammy Lynn Leppert has been missing for nearly 39 years, as of 2022, and her disappearance remains one of the most puzzling unsolved cases. In 1983, Tammy was an up-and-coming actress living in Rockledge, Florida, with her family, and her future seemed incredibly bright. In 1982, she landed a role in the movie Spring Break, which grossed over $25 million at the box office. This role was a turning point for Tammy, who had already experienced success as a beauty queen throughout her childhood. Now, it appeared she was headed for stardom. However, an out-of-town party drastically changed the course of her life. After the success of Spring Break, Tammy attended a party without any adult supervision. According to her mother, Linda Curtis, Tammy returned from the party a completely different person. She became extremely paranoid, avoiding phone calls and looking at everyone around her with suspicion. Linda was deeply concerned for her daughter and pressed her about what was wrong. Tammy eventually responded, "I saw something awful, something really bad that I wasn't supposed to see." "Mom, what would you say if I told you someone was trying to harm me?" Despite Linda's repeated attempts to get more information, Tammy refused to elaborate, only saying that they were after her. As weeks passed, Tammy's behavior became more and more erratic. When she landed a small part in the film Scarface, her family and friends hoped the new project might help bring her back to normal. Unfortunately, it had the opposite effect. Just 4 days into filming, in March 1983, Tammy had a severe breakdown while filming a particularly graphic scene. The director sent Tammy home, and her mother took over her care again. Tammy's paranoia only escalated further. She refused to eat food from her own plate or drink anything from open containers, fearing that someone was trying to poison her. Her strange behavior continued, and eventually, she was admitted to Brevard County Mental Health Center in early July 1983. Linda and Tammy's friends did everything they could to help her, but doctors and local law enforcement were unable to find any direct threat to Tammy's life or any mental condition that might explain her actions. While on the Scarface set, Tammy had made rambling comments about money laundering, but the director couldn't make sense of what she was trying to convey. By July 6, 1983, Tammy had been released from the mental health facility, and things seemed to have calmed down, at least temporarily. On the morning of July 6, Tammy and her friend, Keith Roberts, got into his car and headed to the beach. According to Keith, they had an argument during the drive, and Tammy asked to be let out of the car. Keith complied and let her out near the Glass Bank building on State Road A1A in Cocoa Beach. Strangely, Tammy left behind her purse, ID, and other belongings, items she would have needed to make the 5-mile journey home. After getting out of the car, Tammy Lynn Leppert was never seen or heard from again. Her disappearance continues to baffle investigators. With no clear evidence, many theories have emerged over the years. The most prevalent theory is that Tammy witnessed something she shouldn't have at the party, possibly related to organized crime. Her mother, Linda, believed that her daughter either met with foul play or suffered amnesia and started a new life. According to the Cocoa Beach Police Department, they received 2 calls in the years following Tammy's disappearance from a woman claiming to be Tammy, who said she had run away and started a new life as a nurse. However, those close to Tammy heavily disputed these claims, as she was known to be squeamish around medical matters. Sadly, Linda Curtis passed away in 1995 without ever learning what happened to her daughter. Tammy's siblings and friends now continue the fight for answers and justice. Theories about her disappearance have linked Tammy to serial killers, organized crime, and the possibility that she voluntarily ran away. But without new evidence, it is likely that we may never know the truth. Anyone with information regarding Tammy's case is encouraged to contact the Cocoa Beach Police Department at 407-868-3269 or 321-868-3251.